They say family is what you make it. And more often these days, making that family means going online, surfing the web to find your future baby daddy or mama.
I'm seeing some great guys that kind of fit your criteria.
From searching for sperm
It's kind of like a very extensive online dating profile.
to choosing a platonic co-parent.
You know, you want someone more involved, you want someone to help carry the load.
It's a new era of family planning,
Income, education level.
one that's appealing to a growing number of prospective parents like Tiffany Soper.
Had you always wanted to be a mother?
I wanted to have a family, and I knew that perhaps that traditional family unit wasn't going to be my reality. And so I started to kind of prepare for that, knowing that I wanted to have a baby regardless of the situation.
While in her 30s and busy with her own PR firm in Vancouver, Tiffany started to plan ahead with the help of Dr. Sonia Kashyap, director of Genesis Fertility.
Biology is something that doesn't wait for us and we don't have a lot of control over.
You know, I've had serious relationships, but I was never the right person at the right time to be like, yes, let's do this, let's start a family.
Tiffany froze her eggs, a process that's become instrumental in closing what Dr. Kashyap calls the fertility gender gap.
So men make new sperm every 2 to 3 months. So throughout their life, they can reproduce. For women, we don't make new eggs. We're actually born with a finite number of eggs that we will deplete in quantity and quality as we age. After age 35 or 37, the quality of those eggs also diminishes. Mother Nature is just not caught up with us yet.
Over the course of the pandemic, fertility clinics and sperm banks saw demand for their services increase as much as 20%.
We certainly saw an uptick in couples, individuals, same-sex couples being interested in starting their families, in women freezing their eggs.
If you have to visit like a counselor and have a session.
That's when Tiffany felt the time was right. 4 years after freezing her eggs, she was ready to start her family.
Was it the pandemic that
I mean,
changed you?
I think it definitely gave me that opportunity to really stop, reevaluate everything. I realized that I was working too much and that I didn't have to live my life that way anymore, and that I could fit in time for a baby and time for family if I wanted to, if I made the decision to do that.
She was 42 at the time, and the options were to use insemination, where we wash sperm and put it in the uterus, or to decide to thaw and fertilize her frozen eggs.
Right.
And so she decided to go with insemination and to keep, which is not uncommon, to keep her frozen eggs for later, perhaps in case she met somebody that she'd like to have children with later. That's your uterus.
Although eggs age, the uterus is capable of carrying babies even past menopause.
And this will be our leftover here.
After choosing the method, it was time for the final decision: sperm.
So I went through an online portal, a sperm donation clinic based in the US.
In Canada, it's prohibited to compensate egg donors or sperm donors. We can purchase sperm from sperm banks, which mostly come from the US.
I spent several months researching donors. It was a really, really hard decision to make.
What were you looking for?
I was just looking for like a donor that stood out for me, where I was like, oh, okay, like it was more just like a feeling rather than specifics. Like obviously there was certain physical attributes and, you know, a clean medical history, and you can look at personality tests, you can look at education, career. And yeah, I was just looking for a donor that just felt right.
It took months, but she found one.
Once I saw the donor that I wanted to pick, I kind of made the decision really quickly.
Tiffany's donor was anonymous, but some women want their sperm to come with a degree of parental involvement.
Tall would be nice. I'm a tall woman, 5'8", without heels. With heels, like 5'11".
Like Stephanie Reibel, a 42-year-old single woman working in sales and living in Los Angeles.
Would you be open to a guy who already has a child that's divorced and wants another one?
Yes,
Okay.
I would. I would be open to people younger that have never had a child.
Yes. And you would be open to a gay man that's like a single professional.
100%.
Stephanie sought out the help of Ivan Fadovic, the founder of the website Modamily.
You know, it's a lot like regular dating, but for a different purpose.
It's basically a dating site for people who want to be parents.
We connect people who are ready to have kids and start a family. Whether you're looking for a romantic relationship or a platonic co-parent or a known sperm donor. We have one of the largest databases in the world of co-parents and donors and people just looking to start a family or help you start your family.
Stephanie is bisexual and has 2 children who were carried by her former partner.
I've dated all ages, like my age, older, younger, lately younger.
Now she wants to give birth to a child of her own, but doesn't want to do it alone.
Ideally, I would like a romantic relationship and a partner that's ready to have a kid, but I like that this site can give me an option for a platonic relationship, which kind of takes the pressure off. So if I do want to find somebody down the road, like at least then I've had my children and I have a great co-parent, and then they can come into my life in a romantic way and they can still be involved.
With Modamily, men have the option to go beyond being just sperm donors.
We have one of the largest known sperm donor databases where there's men all over the world that are open to being a known donor as opposed to an anonymous donor.
And those donors can choose how much involvement they want in the child's life. It could be anything from occasional hangouts to full-time co-parenting.
There's a lot of men in their 40s or 50s that maybe spent a lot of time in the single scene and not settling down, and they're getting to a point where they want to have children. Or maybe they had a child and they were married and divorced and they want another child but they don't want to get married again.
Modamily users can look for someone on their own. But Stephanie chose to use the Concierge service, where Yvonne walks clients through the steps to make the pregnancy happen.
I personally work with you to find either a romantic co-parent or a platonic co-parent or a known sperm donor, and I'll verify their identities, and I could help facilitate, health checks and psych evaluations and develop legal agreements, whether it's co-parenting agreement or a known donor agreement. So we're basically like an advocate for the client and work like a matchmaker, except we're trying to help you find a co-parent or donor as opposed to traditionally a boyfriend or girlfriend.
And while sperm banks struggle to attract donors from various ethnic backgrounds, Modamily says for them, that's not a problem.
So we do help people find those harder to find donors, whether you're looking for an African American donor, an Asian donor, or a Jewish donor. Even if it's not on my database, I have ways to reach out to other places. I helped a woman find a Harvard-educated donor, so I advertised in the Harvard Crimson newspaper and just did Facebook campaigns and Instagram searches. So we use a variety of methods to find donors if we don't have them within our own database.
Stephanie is excited to find her match.
I mean, if I could do it by the end of the year, love it. That would be ideal.
Tiffany's insemination was a success. She got pregnant on the first try and is now the mother of a baby girl named Birdie.
It was the most profound experience of my life. I'm really grateful to have gone through that. Even just the pregnancy and everything, and the birth was such a phenomenal experience.
Made possible because of an anonymous sperm donor who Birdie may meet one day.
Our donor has what's called open identity disclosure, and that was important to me because I wanted Birdie to have the option if that's something that she wanted. After she turns 18, she can connect with him through the sperm bank and provide his contact information, and he's open to that.
Have you thought about what you're going to tell Birdie as she gets older and asks questions about her parentage or her father?
I have, yes. So as soon as she's old enough to sort of understand or to start to talk about it, messaging we have a unique family, I needed a little bit of help to get here, but I just really wanted you so badly. I definitely want to be open and honest about it.